Have Ruben Amorim's poor, cowardly tactics been exposed yet again today by another manager? The Manchester United players' poor mentality has been highlighted as they are getting very upset over criticism online. Some criticism I think goes too far, some I think is valid personally myself, but it shows that the club definitely have a weak mentality problem. Maino exit on loan, Napoli interested, looking like the most likely scenario. There was these BS reports, and knew they were BS at the time, that Barcelona wanted to get rid of Rashford and send him back, which was just nonsense because he's been playing really well for Barcelona. And that has been confirmed by Romano as nonsense. He's given an update on Barcelona and Rashford. And it was actually reported that United were going to sign Mohamed Dabu and Cristiano Rosico. And then a few hours after it was announced we're going to sign Dabu, they said we're not going to sign Dabu anymore and that we're only looking to sign a Rosico. And they kind of give an explanation behind why we didn't sign that youngster and more. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show, where I'm going to be rounding up the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys. If you do enjoy today's video, feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, you're more than welcome to subscribe if you want daily Manchester United content. Let's get into it. So, Unai Emery was 1-1 with Arsenal, yeah? 1-1 with Arsenal. When you're 1-1 with Arsenal, you take it. They're top of the league, yeah? Any club's going to take a 1-1 draw with Arsenal. So, to be fair, you probably sub on another defender and take the draw versus Arsenal. But Unai Emery said, that game's there for the winning. We can win this, because Aston Villa were bloody good in that game. And he took off Matty Cash, a defender, and he brought on an attacker in Buendia. And who scored the winning goal? Buendia. And I just think that is huge. That is said a point to Ruben Amorim. Take notes, Ruben Amorim, who only subs on defenders for defenders. Because Unai Emery has done a fantastic job with Villa. He spent a lot less money than Ruben Amorim. There was PSR issues at Villa. They've got Jadon Sancho in their squad. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, they have an unreal midfield, but he's platformed that midfield well. Unai Emery is doing everything that Ruben Amorim needs to do. Ruben Amorim brings on another defender. When we've already got 5 defenders and 2 DMs on the pitch versus West Ham, he brings on another defender at Leacher. And you might argue, well, who can he bring on? It's only really Shea Lacey. Shea Lacey's 18. How many times have we brought on the academy and done something brilliant? You don't bring on another defender when you're 1-1 versus West Ham with 10 minutes to go. You bring on the academy kid in attack and you give him his opportunity. That is the Man United way. Unai Emery subbed off a defender in Cash, and he brought an attacker in Buendia and he won the game. This was Arsenal. He could have brought on another defender on and left Cash on and said, we'll take the draw. But he didn't. He took the risk and he won the game. Sometimes when you take the risk, you don't win the game. But when we're playing Everton and we're playing West Ham, if we draw the game, that's 2 points dropped. If we win the game, that's 2 points gained. A draw is only 1 more point than a loss. But a win is 2 more points than a draw. When you're playing West Ham and when you're playing Everton with 10 men, you risk losing to go for the win. And Ruben Amorim didn't do that. In 18 minutes to change versus Everton, he didn't. When he takes a defender off, he puts on another defender. You could take off a centre-back, and then you could bring on Maino. Because at least then, even if we don't have an attacker to bring on, as an extra body in midfield, Bruno Fernandes can go further up and have more influence on the attack. I think Unai Emery absolutely showed Ruben Amorim what top manager does. And that's why Villa won the game. And Villa have won 7 games in a row. But also, Youri Tielemans is a very similar profile of player to Kobbie Mainoo. He might not have all the physical attributes when it comes to ground coverage, but he's got the technical attributes on the ball, which is why Villa's midfield was amazing today. Youri Tielemans was the best player on the pitch. It was the worst I've seen Arsenal's midfield because of the technical quality of Youri Tielemans. He has a Nana and Camara that can cover ground around them to make it work. We need to get a midfielder that can cover ground to go next to Mainoo to make it work. We need to build a midfield for it, I think. Mainoo would be fantastic in that Tielemans role. But I thought that highlighted Amorim's issues. But I want to talk about the players. I want to talk about the players because there's a mentality issue, and it's been highlighted by Edie Ladyman's report, who said many things. Lissandro Martinez I love, and I think Lissandro Martinez has a good mentality, but I think this is a bit embarrassing for him. Lissandro Martinez took Paul Scholes' TV criticism so personally last season that a clear the air meeting was arranged, but it never happened. Paul Scholes was too harsh on Leach last season. Leach is one of our better players. He probably didn't deserve the criticism he's got from pundits, but to want to have a meeting with Paul Scholes to hash it out, why are you bothered about what Paul Scholes says? Paul Scholes is a fantastic player. I think Paul Scholes is a shocking pundit. I think as a player he's brilliant, but I think there's loads of crap that comes out of Paul Scholes' mouth. And to be honest, I don't think that many Man United fans take what Paul Scholes says very seriously. Sometimes he says stuff, I agree with it. But Leach wanted to have a clear the air meeting because Paul Scholes gave him stick online. Ignore it. Ignore it. Like, why? I get that they're ex-players and they've got a connection to the club, but why are the players letting this bother them? Executives tolerate Paul Scholes, but the United's first team are fed up with the constant negativity, viewing him as the grumpiest man in Manchester. And that is fair. He is grumpy, he is negative, there is too much negativity. Players feel pundits like Scholes should show more empathy given they know the pressure of playing for United. Fair enough. Instead, the squad feel his comments hit hard and pee them off. I get why they wouldn't like Scholes. He understands the pressure of playing for United, this and that. But have Man United been good the last few years? No, we've been crap. So of course he's going to criticise you. Of course he's going to say negative things. I don't get why. It just shows a weak mentality that we're so bothered about what Paul Scholes says. Yes, but it's harder playing for Man United because you've got a lot of outside noise. And you are unfairly criticised sometimes. Like, the criticism of Euro is ridiculous lately. But as a Man United player, you need to have the mentality to ignore that. Not, oh, Paul Scholes said this, I want to have a meeting with him. You need to have the mentality. And I know it's hard, and there's so much not very nice stuff written on the internet about people, and it's harder these days than it must have been 15, 20 years ago. But the Man United players need to stop melting down when they get criticised because they're playing crap and we're 15th last season, and just get rid of that outside noise. And I know it's easier said than done, but it shows a mentality issue. It really does. Continuing on into other Manchester United news and updates. Due to financial issues, Napoli can only execute loan deals next month. This is why they're aiming for Kobbie Mainoo. The multiple injuries would help Kobbie get a lot of game time at Napoli. Apparently, Kobbie's first choice in the summer was Napoli. Kobbie wanted the Napoli move. Something tells me Kobbie is going to be going to Napoli. I have a feeling that's going to happen on loan, but only if United let it happen. We might not let Kobbie go. We might not let Kobbie go out on loan, which I think would be bad of us, considering we're not going to give him any minutes. Because if someone does get injured, we're going to need Kobbie. We might not let Kobbie go out on loan unless we get a replacement. But Amorim isn't going to play Kobbie. It's Amorim or Kobbie. They're going to back Amorim to the end of the season. They've made that clear. Let Kobbie go on loan. Don't sell him. Let him go on loan. Let him get minutes. He's too good to be on the bench. He's way too good to be wasted on the bench. And I want a loan. I don't want a permanent. I think he can go on loan, smash it, come back, be part of our squad next season. I think Amorim could be gone at the end of the season. I don't think they'll sack Amorim mid-season, but I think they'll sack him at the end of the season. But I think, for me, I'd like Kobbie to go to Napoli, and apparently that was his first choice. Talking of a player that will leave at the end of the season, unless something drastic happens like an injury or bad form, but Barcelona have not made a decision on the future of Rashford. The feeling internally is very good. Hansi Flick likes the player. The reports of Barcelona not making the deal permanent is not true. Barca have not communicated anything to United or Rashford. Basically, there's reports coming out that Barcelona don't want Rashford. They're not going to make the deal permanent, la la la. It never came from a reliable outlet. Barcelona are going to make a decision on Rashford in April. They're going to wait to the end of his loan, see how his loan goes. As of now, if Rashford plays like he has so far to the end of the season, then Marcus Rashford will be a Barcelona player next year. I'm convinced they'll buy him. He's 26 million is a bargain. If they don't, I'm convinced someone like Bayern Munich would swoop in and buy Rashford because he's an effing bargain on the market. But there's reports that Barca don't want him. Look, he might have an injury. He might have a poor second half of the season. We're not going to know till March, April, but I'd be very shocked if he doesn't leave. And last but not least, we were linked to Mohamed Dabu. Now, it has been said that we are not signing the player that we thought we were going to get, that actually some reports said we were going to sign. And that is because we've signed Cristiano Rosico, who we view as the better talent. In addition, the club has a great talent in its own ranks in Jim Thwaites. And you know what? Fair enough. I'm all for us bringing in the next best young talents, but you can't bring loads in. You need to bring 3 or 4 in and have a realistic pathway. We've got Jim Thwaites, we've got Shea Lace, we've got JJ Gabriel. We need to find the next Moises Caicedo. We've gone for Seko Gona, we've gone for Cristiano Rosico, but we don't need to go for every young midfielder. I like us going for young midfielders, but we should be selective. A couple young defenders, a couple young attackers, a couple young midfielders. Look at the talent we have in our academy and have some healthy competition. Anyway, people, that is your 10-minute roundup. Thank you for watching today's video. Feel free to hit the like button on the way out. See you next time. Bye.